Well, don't look now. Your Edmonton Oilers have won 2 in a row, and they are just 2 points back in the playoffs, which means clearly a 16-game win streak is incoming. I'm Graham Mosman. Welcome to this edition of Game on Edmonton, your daily look in 10 minutes or less of everything that is going on with the Edmonton Oilers. A really nice 4-2 win for the team last night against the Nashville Predators. If you want the in-depth, super smart hockey guy analysis of all that, our good pal Avery has the coverage over on Game Over Edmonton. Really interesting show last night. I was a little surprised, all things considered, how little conversation there was, though, about this team's physical play. And we're going to dive into that, plus a couple of very silly, wonderful stories from this game. But before we get to that, I want to tell you all about Hyperdrive Hockey. Maxime and Daphne get together on Tuesdays and Fridays and put together incredible shows diving into everything in the world of hockey, and it's cool because you can feel that show like growing and becoming more of what it could be every single week, and it's so much fun to listen to and watch. You can find that over anywhere you can subscribe to podcasts or for Hyperdrive Hockey, or you can go find it on the Game Over Network main YouTube page. But let's go back to the Oilers right now, as the Connor McDavid goal drought is finally over. He gets his first of the season, the eventual game winner to seal this one away, until Brett Kulak having his very first multi-goal game of his career, which seems weird. That can't be right, but again, the NHL is a strange place, so as he gets the opening goal for the Oilers and then eventually pots in the game winner. But the person I want to really give a bit of love to right now is one old Jeff Skinner. Which, have you seen the back of his jersey, by the way? It says J. Skinner, which is infuriating because you would assume that means Stuart Skinner's jersey says S. Skinner, right? No, it doesn't. So apparently the privilege of being the first Skinner on the team, Stewart doesn't have to put a letter in front of his last name. He can just be Skinner. But old poor Jeff has to, even though they're two players who play entirely different positions. And oh yeah, we're completely different numbers. But no, you have to have the letter in it for some reason. Either both of them should have it or none of them should. It's very weird. I know, a dumb nitpick on my part, but don't mind me. I want to give some love right now, though, to the Edmonton Oilers subreddit, which it can be an odd place. People can get a little sad and grumpy over certain instances, and that happens. It's okay. You don't be too mad on people. But they have started a tradition where they Photoshop very badly Jeff Skinner's face over Seymour Skinner. You know, the steamed ham scene with him and Super Nintendo Chalmers, with the Aurora Borealis and this time of day and this type of year in this part of the country, localized entirely in your kitchen. Yeah, they've taken that, and so every Jeff Skinner goal is another steamed ham. And so hopefully over the season, he'll stack the whole thing up. Now, this was actually a carryover from the Buffalo Sabres subreddit. Someone named the Blubbered One 26 started it over there. Every time Skinner would score, they'd add another steamed ham to the pile. So it is both wonderful and extremely weird that this tradition, as it is continuing over to the Edmonton Oilers. But hey, if it means a whole bunch of Jeff Skinner goals, we are not going to complain. Now, do have a bit of a lineup update for the team today. Stuart Skinner is going to start against Dallas for the dreaded 2 o'clock in the afternoon matchup. Janmark looks like he's going to move up into the lineup, though, and play with Nugent Hopkins and Victor Arvidsson. So that will probably mean Vasily Podkolzin will move down to the fourth line and end up playing with Derek Ryan and Corey Perry. Probably not the worst one there. I really like what we've seen from Podkolzin so far. But Janmark looks like he has a little bit more scoring ability. He especially showed that through the playoffs. So kind of, yeah, it's one lineup swap. It's not really huge. If you want to take a quick look over to Bakersfield, though, the Condors have had a bit of a strange season so far. They do play tonight against the Ontario Reign and did beat the Coachella Valley Firebirds last night by a score of 2-1. Now, it's really hard to kind of put together who's really good and who's not for this team, because it's on the older side. I mean, our leading scorer right now is Drake Kajula, tied with Matvey Petrov and I think that's Corey Deneen, I want to say. I'm gonna double check, make sure I'm not a crazy person for this one. Cam Deneen, excuse me, sorry Cam, I deeply regret not knowing your exact name. But the players are all tied with like 1 point each. The scoring's all over the place. Olivier Rodrigue with the totally sustainable 96.7 save percentage. So hey, good for the Bakersfield Condors. I'm sure they will be as fine as they can be. I mean, if you do want to go like take in a Condors game now and again and watch online, they're pretty fun. It's honestly a whole lot of going, oh, hey, that guy, I remember him, as one does with a whole bunch of AHL players. Before we wrap up the show today, talk about the Oilers' opponent tomorrow in the Dallas Stars. Now, they just came off a loss, to the Washington Capitals just the other day. This game is going to be a really interesting one for a lot of ways. Number one, Jake Ottinger signing a brand new deal for the Stars at the exact same number Jeremy Swayman signed for, which, I don't know, if I was a Stars fan, I'd feel kind of bummed with, because Jeremy Swayman, I think, is a better goalie than Jake Ottinger, so getting him for the same number is odd, although locking up that player for as long as you can when you have a good goalie, I mean, you kind of just got to do it. Tyler Seguin for the Stars looks like he will be out as well, as he's getting over an injury that sustained a couple nights ago. We'll see how this one shakes out. I mean, Dallas 4-1 on the season. I mean, arguably, I think they could say they're the biggest threat in the Western Conference, aside from the Edmonton Oilers at this kind of early season juncture. Should be a fun one. I know afternoon games can be, because a lot of times when it feels like the team isn't ready for it, the whole schedule's all weird. But hey, you can get some afternoon hockey in and then go do something else with your evening if you like. So that's always fun. There will be a Game Over show on the Game Over Edmonton channel immediately following that game. So we'll hopefully join you there and break down everything that occurred between the Oilers and Stars. That stream going to go live at about 5:10 or so on Saturday afternoon. That'll do it for me in this edition of Game On Edmonton. I'm Graham Mosman, and we will talk to you again on Monday, because that's how weekends work.